But when you slow it down, you can see the discrepancies in her body position that cause her not to go quite as high as she could be going. You see her arms aren't really extending away from her body, and she's not getting quite the amount of pop that she would before. In her tuck position, she has a little bit of an issue with cowboying. The coaches like it.
They always do.
But you can see, I mean, the ideal, the ultimate is you go from a layout position to a tight tuck position, and that's what accelerates your rotation and causes you to land with your chest up in a nice beautiful position. So she has some issues with her form and her technique, and I mean, obviously you don't judge it in slow motion, but you see the end result a lot of times of where she is. And I was limited in the videos that I have to the DVD that I got, but I think, Carol, you have Jamie Dancher's floor team?
I do.
Okay, can we show that after I'm done? Before or after Val goes, maybe?
I have
Oh, Kate Richardson, right.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference.
Come on, girl.
All right, so she does double tuck, and then she ends with a double tuck as well. As her last pass. And you can see again, I mean, as she gets fatigued, it's going to be a little tougher, but she manages to do a pretty good job considering her round-up back handspring. As she does her round-up back handspring, you'll notice this position right here is the critical element. And when she's that arched and that much segmentation in her shoulder angle, and her hands contact the floor, so it's going to be really tough for her to get all the way back out to the hollow position, which you want. All your momentum is generated from contact with the floor of your hands, snapping through to a hollow, and extending through your upper body, through your torso, finishing your back handspring with your arms as high as you can, and following through your hips to a totally extended position. And she manages to do a pretty good double back considering how segmented she is. And it's really tough at the end of a floor routine to do it as the ideal or the ultimate. So I think as much as we want them to be perfect, they don't manage all the time. Here, her head's going back a little early. And her arms, consequently, once your head goes, like Neil said, once your head goes back, you're done. The only way you're going to be able to get your arms up is by keeping your head neutral, coming through, opening the shoulder angle and the hips. So the moment of takeoff, right when her feet leave the floor, in an ideal world, she wants to be as close to vertical as she can be. The mean angle of takeoff for the value in my study was 78 degrees, 90 being vertical. So 78 degrees was short of vertical. I mean, you're not going to be exactly vertical. Because the faster you're moving horizontally, the more angle you can have and still manage to get your somersault going in the right direction. So it's a function of horizontal velocity and angular takeoff, which creates the height and rotation of the somersault. Because like what Neil was talking about in bar dismounts, you know, it's a trade-off, and Mark on vaulting as well, it's a trade-off between height and rotation. You know, you can go high and flip slow, you can whip it back and flip like a maniac. But you want the ideal parabola. The trajectory of the center of gravity is a parabola. So it can be a flat parabola, or it can be a real egg-shaped parabola, or somewhere in between, depending on how fast she's going horizontally, related to how much of an angle she has when she takes off. So that's that. So that's my little spiel about the round foot cancer. All right, double back pikes. Some good, some not so much. Same with a double tuck. You're going from a straight extended body position to a pike position. The biggest mistake kids make on double pike is they want to whip it back because they want to get that rotation, because it's harder to flip in a pike than it is in a tuck. So what they'll end up doing is creating a lot of rotation, but sacrificing some of their height to try to get that rotation. The way they do that is by throwing their head back and throwing their shoulders back and getting in this kind of a body shape when they take off. So, let me show you a couple of double pikes, which is probably the most common pass you're going to see in college gymnastics. First get the double pike. This kid starts with a double pike, and I'll play it regular first. And you can see she has a little bit of an issue with the landing. That'll talk her down. Okay, so now let's back this up and look at what causes her to over-rotate a little bit. See, when she lands, she's landing with her hips back. What I always tell my athletes is, your takeoff determines your landing. And if you're taking off, whipping your head and shoulders back a little bit, now that's actually pretty decent. If she had her head in just a little bit more, she would be able to land it a little bit better. But what's happening is her momentum is going traveling back. So like on the double layout of cars, when you was talking about the ones that stuck it. Nice.
Anyway, it's the best I can do. So.
Public humiliation is a wonderful thing.
I thought this was a costume day. It's not really ridiculous.
He's man enough to not be worried about making a fool of himself. So anyway.
Professional.
Yeah, I was supposed to. I should have brought my monkey out. So she's traveling backward because she's throwing her head back a little bit, and which causes her momentum to be traveling backward when she lands. So that's why when she lands, all her momentum is still traveling backward. And she opens a little late, in addition to that. But then her hips are behind her feet, so when your hips are behind your feet, that's where you're going. Exit stage right. I thought her height and her rotation were pretty good. But like I said before, she sacrificed a little bit of her height for increased rotation. She was probably pretty excited in the national championship, you know, so she over-rotated. All right, that one. And then this one. Oh, she does it last pass. Did she do it last pass? No, she's not. She does nice whips into it. Pretty decent landing.